Good evening, Bobby Ben. Welcome to Chatbox with Sam.
Yay.
How are you?
I'm dandy. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm really happy that you're here too. I'm very honoured that you've come on my show. As I
Well,
know
you asked and I showed up.
you did, and I know you personally too, and I know what an amazing actor you are, what a kind gentleman, and I hope the audience enjoy the show.
You're making me blush.
Are you blushing? Can I take a
I am
photo?
hard to do
Can I
it.
take
You
a
sure can.
Can I take a photograph of that? Actually, I might do that.
Yes, you should, because I'm blushing. It never happens.
I know, right? Blush. Okay, Bobby, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and
Okay.
you can answer exactly how you want. I'm all for the First Amendment. So the first question I have for you: if you were to encourage the younger generation, what would be the main focus and why?
If I was to encourage the younger generation, what would be my main focus? Well, I'm happy you asked that. That's a very good question. Today's generation is so different. We're coming from a whole different aspect right now, especially due to COVID. So if encouraging today's young men and young ladies, I would actually encourage them on faith and to focus more.
Mm-hmm.
Because without faith today, you need faith so much more today than you have at any other given time, especially with COVID. It's in a craft that I'm in and others are in. It was like we're getting back to normal, but we're at a normal of 2.0.
Hmm.
So I encourage them just to have more faith.
That's very good. Faith is good. Which
Faith is
means,
awesome.
yes, we all need that. What inspired you into this acting career?
Well, what inspired me into his acting career? Well, to me, I've always wanted to do something. When I first started tap dancing, when I first saw Sammy Davis Jr., Gregory Hines, I knew I wanted to do something like that. But I wasn't always an actor first. I was a singer. So I used to sing in different clubs in and out of around Philadelphia. And I remember one famous singer, she said, and I'm not going to reveal her name, but she said to me, she said, what are you going to do when someone else comes in and their voice is better than yours? I said, I don't know. I said, what are you going to do? She says, well, I'm going to do some acting. And she did. So then I kind of followed in her footsteps and went and became an actor. And here I am today.
And a very good one at that, might I add.
Never, never, never sleep on your dream. Always follow through.
That's awesome advice. So, is there any roles that you've played where you've portrayed more of your own personality? And which film would that be, or pilot that would that be?
Any
Um,
film. So I did a film called The Gift You Forgot to Open. I did this film I think 2015, and it was the guy who he wrote the script, and he writes the script, and we're all reading it. The script made no sense, so we wanted to keep the script true to form. So a lot of us used our own personal lives to finish this movie out for him.
hmm.
So for me, I did one scene where I had to yell and argue at my wife and my wife on screen, and it was hard because I had to put back all that anger I used to have, and I locked in this box, and I remember the guy kept saying, "What's wrong?" I said, "I got to go deep in the box that I locked to pull anger out." And let me tell you, it was so much. I think I ad libbed that whole scene, and I've done so much with it that by the time it was done and over, I wound up getting nominated for Best Actor.
So, how has music influenced your life?
Oh wow! Music. Actually, I could tell you, music is one of those things that opened my doors in the beginning. But music is universal. Music had kept me moving because if I was able to learn Frank Sinatra and then still hit a Run DMC song and then go back and do a Sammy Davis Jr. or Lionel Richie, it opened up characters for me because I've learned characters through music to do acting. And then I remember watching Dreamgirls, and I've seen the play, but then I'm watching Dreamgirls, this movie, and I'm watching Eddie Murphy, I'm watching Jamie Foxx, I'm watching Jennifer Hudson, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, these guys, they came from heaven,
Mm-hmm.
and they're making me really want to do my dream a whole lot more. So music opened up my door and kicked it wide open and made it what it is today.
Oh, and I have to say that Bobby does have a wonderful voice, and he sang for me on my birthday, and he it was amazing, and he made it really special because it was all over Zoom, as you know.
Yeah, it was original.
It was an original version.
That's right. I believe that music opens up love. It opens up laughter. It opens up hope. It opens up happiness.
And it holds memories too,
Tons of memories. That's right.
right? We can relate
Hmm.
to every single tune that we hear
Oh my God, yeah.
for some moment
Every
in our life.
right. Every love song has a different meaning. Every sad song isn't always a sad song. It's just a remembrance of what one person went through.
Yeah.
Every country song is definitely a relationship song. When I used to go through bad relationships, I would turn on country music. My friends like, "What are you doing?" I need to be sad, so I would turn on country music because I could relate with what Randy Travis was going through. I can relate what Tim McGraw was going through. But
Mm.
music got me through everything.
Oh,
Just a thought.
I concur. It gets me through stuff too. Very therapeutic. So moving on,
Very.
it is indeed. So moving on to another question. What out of all the charities that are out there, which one would you choose, which is personally close to your heart, or and why?
Cancer research. As a charity, cancer research, Stand Up to Cancer is one of my favorite charities. I am diehard on praying that there's a cure to find for colon cancer, for breast cancer. There's so much cancer that's out there, and I've had friends who passed away from it, and
Mm.
I pray that that cure is found because you know what? There's so many women who at the beginning of their lives to find out they have cancer, it
Mm.
shortens their lifespan. And it hurts, and I hate seeing someone go through pain or guys who go through the colon cancer and the guys who go through it, it's a tough moment. And
It
if
is.
we know earlier, then we can try to prevent it. But when we can't,
Mm-hmm.
where's the research that's really working hard for it? So yeah, my charity is definitely Stand Up to Cancer.
That's an awesome charity, Bobby. Thank you for sharing
Very
that.
grateful. Thank you.
So, this is probably a difficult question, but I think it's a question that needs to be asked
There's no
because
such thing as difficult questions.
it impacted everybody's lives worldwide. How do
Okay.
you how do you feel about what has transpired since COVID-19, and do you ever see us returning to a normality?
Oh wow. I think that with COVID, we're definitely not going to return to what we used to be. I think we're at our new normal right now.
Hmm.
Okay. I think with COVID actually, through the many lives that was lost due to COVID, through the many relationships, through the many events and time changing things, I think COVID did two things. It made us look at life a little bit more, and it made us respect relationships.
Hmm.
Because think of all the the husbands or wives who wasn't having a great relationship. Now I'm going to leave. I'm going to do this and do that. But then COVID hit. Well, now you got to stay in the same house, and you got to go to the basement, and you got to go sit upstairs. But then sooner or later, it gets that point. 6 months later, you done made a new baby. I don't even know how that one happened. But I mean, then you have COVID to the point where people learn to love their kids more. Now,
Mhm.
COVID it has been a bad thing, but in that retrospect, it teaches us how to respect people, how to respect more people, and that's not for everyone. Because trust me, we've seen what 2020 has done, whether it was good or bad. But I think COVID is an eye opener to everyone. It's different, but we are at a new normal. I don't think we're ever going back to the way we used to be, especially 100%. Especially whether it's in the movie industry, singing, the Oscars. We're never going to go back to what we used to be.
Mhm.
So, but we're going to come into this new 2.0 as a better change, a better way to
Mhm.
respect. I mean, we all miss hugging each other. We all miss giving each other kisses and pounds and everything else. We all miss all that. But now this is a chance to say, I don't want to die. Don't you come over here near me. Stay 6 feet away. It changes you.
Mhm.
But that's the respect level that we didn't have before COVID.
Yeah, it shows too in society
Hmm.
how busy we've become. How in the
Yeah.
40s and 50s they'd sit down and have family meals, and why
Hmm.
today it took a huge pandemic to spend more time with our children, to spend more time not being so
Right.
busy, because a lot of people
Correct. Yeah.
couldn't go to work. So it shows we could slow down if society
Hmm.
really they forced us. The pandemic
Right.
forced us to slow down.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and
I definitely agree.
have family values and
Right.
find them family values. So why can't we stay slowed down? Why does everything have to be a rat race? Why can't we have quality time with our families?
You
And
know the funniest thing to that is that it's funny. If we did stay slow down, we will find a way to have a new normalcy.
mhm,
But everyone's so in a rush to get back to what we used to have.
mhm,
And if you look at what we used to have, was it really that good in the beginning? Because this change really made you look at one person wearing a mask. Now the world wears a mask. And the difference about it was when COVID first started, I'm not wearing no mask. What are you talking about? This is some plague that the government doing. And that's what we all thought. The
mhm.
next thing you know, we see the government wearing the mask too. Obviously, it couldn't have been too much of a plague because we're still wearing the mask. I guess this trick ain't working. So, but it makes you look at that. And I think that we as the united, and I'm not talking 50 states, I'm talking around the world.
Mhm,
I mean, right now, India is catching all the heck in the world right now.
mhm.
So, yeah, I think we're all getting vaccinated, and we all have our shots and everything, and that's a great plus. But the question is now, after all this, where do we stand? That's pretty much our question.
Yeah, we have to come back to a new normality. Maybe not the old one, but a new one. People are respecting each
Right.
other's in the stores now, not jumping in lines and it's me first, me first. People are holding back. So
Hmm.
I think a courtesy came in with the pandemic. And
Oh,
if
I think
things
that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, carry on.
I was going to say that I think that we actually this is now the perfect time to use the term a new world order because that's actually what we have. We have a whole new world order. Our new world is to the point where we actually have to learn to work together, to be home, to enjoy what we didn't have. We have a whole new world order of happiness, or to change it to something different.
As long as it
I
doesn't
pretty happy.
as long as it doesn't come a new world order of Orwellian. We still have to have our
That is very true.
freedoms.
That's very true. Yeah, and that's why I really want us to look at today. Let's not look at last year. Let's not look at 10 years ago. We need to look at now
Hmm.
because now is where we stand. Because we don't know what next month gonna bring. Next month could be a new version of COVID,
Hmm.
but we don't know.
Viruses do mutate. They have
Yes, they
trouble.
do.
They have trouble today just keeping up with the flu, H1N1, and then it's H1N something.
Exactly.
So,
Right. Exactly.
okay, thank you very much for answering that, Bobby, because
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
think it's a very important question for everybody.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Okay, is there anything that no one has asked you in an interview or in an audition that you would have liked to have been asked?
Hmm. Has anyone asked me something I've never been asked before? It's funny because everyone always tiptoe around questions and ask me stuff. And I remember I've had one question that somebody was about to ask me, but then changed their mind. And I remember the guy says me off. He asked off camera. He says, "I heard that you tap dance." I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "You're a big guy to tap dance." He says, "How does that work? Do you have two left feet?" I said, "No." I said, "Because when I put each feet down, they actually sound like they tap." And it was so different because he looked at me and says, "Can you tap for me?" And I was looked at him like, I don't know about one shoes the way you're answering this question, but just so happens I had my tap shoes in my car. So I went out, I got my shoes, and I tapped for him.
Oh.
And as anyone knows, a hoofer, we carry our shoes everywhere we go
Hmm.
because you never know when you may see a floor. We hear sounds of the floor,
Hmm.
and that floor may like get us excited, like, "Ooh, I gotta go dance on this floor. I gotta go make this floor mad." And I remember I tapped for him. This man lost his mind because he was like, "Wow." He said, "I can't believe you're doing it." I said, "Yeah." I said, just because I was bigger, I was a heavier guy than he couldn't believe that we were doing it. And he said to me, he says, "What made you do it?" I said, "Sammy Davis Jr., Gregory Hines, Savion Glover, these guys, Bunny Briggs, these tap dancers
Hmm.
opened up
Awesome.
doors that made me want to do it." And I followed through. And I remember watching Jelly's Last Jam with Gregory Hines, and it made me want to do it. But it made me want to be more of an entertainer,
Mm.
not just a guy who's on set, not just a guy who sings with the microphone. I want to be able to do more than one thing.
And you certainly can. You're a man of many talents. So, Bobby, I know you're currently in a project called Blackwater Blues with Corin Nemec, Jason London, Chad Kimsey, Ben Esterday, Chase Waters, Bear
Yes, Chase
Jones,
Ford.
Creek Wilson, and quite a few other people. Would you like to share your experience on set with the teaser and the cast and crew and what your hopes for the future for Blackwater Blues? I know you can't say anything too much, but if you'd
Okay,
like to
well,
share.
I'm happy you asked. And you know what? I'm going to share everything I can't share, but I'm going to share it anyway that I can't share. That made no sense, but I'm going to share it anyway. Um, Actually, the being on set with these guys was amazing. Corin Nemec is is the coolest cat in the entire world. I know this is like pulling his little coattail or whatever when I say this, but Corin Nemec is one of the coolest cats in the entire world. And I don't say that because of Skittles commercials. I don't say that because of our fun that we have with that and me never getting Skittles. I don't say it because of that. I don't say because Jason London's is the baddest badass I know. I'm not going to say that either. I'm not going to say that Ben Easterday is probably the one of the coolest, tallest guys that don't take no mess in it from anyone, and he's like a little teddy bear when you squeeze him. I don't know if that's true or not.
He is very tall.
Yeah, he was very tall. I'm not going to say that Chad is a very eccentric little guy because he's actually 6 feet and some change. I'm not even sure if that's true. Um, I'm not going to say that Bear is not the coolest guy that I know on a motorcycle because he is. He's a little small. I'm not going to talk about Chase because every time I see Chase, I keep thinking Lost, and I don't know why I keep looking at Chase and I feel like he's the guy from Lost. It's scary. Um, But Blackwater Blues
And Creek
is
Wilson.
going to be. Oh yes, I forgot Creek. Yeah, well, actually, you know what? The difference. I like Creek. You know what I like Creek because Creek's one of them guys that sneaks up on you and he makes you like him. He's not just one of those guys that just you just all right with. No, he makes you like him. Then you got wonderful guys like Brad J. Love me some Brad J. He's the coolest guy I know. And the rest of the cast is amazing. Steve Wise, he was a great director for us. He really gave us good direction and let us do what we need to do. I'm so impressed with the multitude of talent that was on that set that day. I'm impressed with the director. I'm impressed with the photographers. I'm impressed with everyone because we all came together and we shot a wonderful piece of information. I'll call it information because it was so informative day one up until the last day. And to work with these guys on a professional level was amazing because we went in, shot our scenes, and we were out. I will say that the difference is watching Corin and Jason work
Mm.
is night and day. Jason, he goes in, he'll see it, he'll see the vision the way he wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
and then he execute. When you watch Corin work, oh my God, it's like when Corin goes in, you can see the gears turning in his head,
Yeah.
and it's like fire. He executes it. I mean, this TV show is going to be epic at best, if that's a big thing to say. It's going to be quite amazing. And I'm telling you all about this without telling you about it. It's amazing how this is working.
It
but
is.
but it is it's just dealing with, it's like being on set. It's like being with family, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how it felt the whole time. It's like being with family, and every waking moment you get the script in your hand and you read it and you're like, okay, like my scene. I can talk about one scene I've done. It was, to me, it's probably the best scene. I loved it where we had to do a fight scene. I was the
Oh.
happiest guy in the world because I got to beat up people, and it was good because you never think you get to beat up your idol, Ryan Seacrest, but it's like you get to beat up your idol, and it was cool because I'm sitting up here. I would never thought that in a million years. So I
Co-
would always say that Blackwater Blues, and I say this with all my heart, this is going to be a #1 show.
well, I know a lot of work's gone into it. Corin wrote the script, and Jason and
Hmm.
Corin worked together with that, and there was a lot of work went into that, especially writing the teaser and stuff extra. And
Oh my
I,
God,
I
yeah,
I'm wishing the best, and I can't wait to see it. So I know I will get
oh,
to see the teaser when it's released.
yeah,
I'm
it's
looking
going to be
forward.
amazing.
I'm looking forward to the Blackwater Blues. So, and would you like to share your part, how you felt about the Love America tour and the Lat family?
You know, we all have to love America, you know,
Right.
but I remember with the Love America tour when we started that, well, when it was started, um, it was a great idea. It's a great idea. Corin going around speaking to people around the world. That was an amazing thing because no one else did it at that point until after Corin started doing it. And I started like, now we got copycats. This ain't is not even cool anymore. But I loved it because it was an original idea, and you can't beat originality. You can steal it, but you can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
I think through that, which I'm going to switch subjects real quick, when it boiled down to watching Corin do something, I said to myself, let me switch gears. Let me start doing some other things of my own. And then I remember with Love America Tour, people kept saying, when are y'all getting back to do your Skittle stuff? And I said, I was waiting for the right time. And you know how anything goes is
Mm-hmm.
uh, time isn't what you plan. Time
Yeah.
happens. So when we went down to Mississippi, it was perfect timing to do the Skittles again. And the moment we did, it was like we never stopped. And the people around the world, and I don't mean just around the corner, I mean around the world. We're talking Paris, we're talking Australia, we're talking China.
Yeah.
That it was reaching people all over. So it's just amazing to see that.
Bonnie and I enjoy doing that little Skittles uh, skit.
We have
In
so much more coming.
Yeah, we enjoy doing that, and the video that came out that was good with
Mhm.
Rachel in it and everything. That
Um,
was very fun to do them commercials. It was cool. No Skittles for Bobby. I've got my
yeah, exactly. One day I'm gonna get Skittles. One day,
I've got my T-shirt upstairs, Bobby.
and that's good because I'm trying to work on getting some more T-shirts for everyone. I do want to talk about. I have a my show. You know what? As funny as it may be, I'm at work one day last week, and one of my residents
hmm
was actually there, and she opens up her paper and she reads this thing, Mayor of Easttown. I'm looking over, and I look over, and I said, "Oh, look, Kate Winslet." I said, "Oh, when's that coming on?" And she said, "Oh, Sunday." I'm like, "Wow, my show coming on Sunday?" She's like, "You're in that?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "She's like, how come you didn't know?" I'm like, "I don't even know how come I didn't know." And it was funny because we shot Mayor of Easttown pre-COVID.
Oh.
So I shot 2 episodes for them. Yeah, pre-COVID. So last Sunday was the first episode,
hmm
and this Sunday's the second episode on HBO.
Oh.
Shameless plug. Yes, I did. I did a shameless plug.
What network?
But yes,
What network
Mary
is
East
that on?
is on HBO.
Okay.
So it was so amazing. And someone said to me, when do you sleep? I'm like, sleep. I work a 9 to 5. Who sleeps? Matter of fact, I'm at work now.
I know.
And I used to get flack about that because people would say to me all the time, "How do you have a 9 to 5, still an actor, and travel as much as you do? How do you even find time?" My bosses like me; they let me do what I want.
Well, it's not really a 9 to 5. You work many hours caring for people. You're a
Yeah,
nurse,
and
right?
right, and yes, and being a caretaker to a lot of people.
hmm
So when I leave my job, I'm actually running to 3 other clients I have, and I'll go take care of them. And then I'll tell my clients, all right, well, listen, I can't be here this time because I got to go shoot a movie. And then my clients are so happy. They don't care about their health. They're like,
Oh,
just make me sign my paper, sign my autograph. Will you come back or bring me a signature for somebody? So it's like, that's like the coolest thing.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's different, but I always tell people I like keeping my 9 to 5. I like being the person I am because it keeps me humble,
hmm
and I
And,
like being humble.
and it keeps the wages coming in too.
Oh yeah, well, tons of that.
And would you like to share the podcast that you're going to be doing soon in All Ducks in a Row? Life with actor Bobby Benn or Life with Bobby Benn?
Life with Bobby Ben. Yeah, actually, and it's so funny because I wanted to start it earlier, but I had so much other stuff on my plate at that time, and I said I had to push it back a little bit. And when we started doing Blackwater Blues, I wanted to start it then. I'm like, yeah. Then I'm going to do. I have Life with Bobby Ben, and I have Finding Robert Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Finding Robert Ben is actually I look forward to. I can't wait to do this. Finding
Mm-hmm.
Robert Ben is me going out there finding guys named Robert Ben.
Mm-hmm.
In my family, I'm not the only person with the name Robert Ben. I have a brother named Robert Ben. I have a nephew named Robert Ben. My nephew just had a kid. His name is Robert Ben. I found a guy on Twitter named Robert Ben. I call him my brother from another mother twice. I mean, and there's so many of us, and so I said, you know what? I want to go around. I want to talk to each Robert Ben and see how having the name Robert Ben has affected them in good or a bad way. So I got tons of fun.
And I'd like you, if you would say, just to share a little bit about your, because it's very interesting, your childhood. Could you please share it with the audience a little bit about your childhood and growing up?
Well,
Whatever you
well,
want.
it starts back in the day when I was just a little kid. Uh, actually, when I was younger, coming up, I used to always say to myself, I wanted more in life and I wanted to do more. And even though it didn't come out that way, it didn't turn out. the way I wanted. By the time I was 13, I wound up seeing myself being adopted by another family, by a Jewish family, a white Jewish family.
Mm.
And I remember I would go every day after school to the store,
Yeah.
and I would go there. And I remember one day they said, "Do you just want a job?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." And from that moment on, everything happened. My whole life changed.
Yes.
And I think that if I wasn't adopted, I don't think I would be an actor. I don't think I would be the person I am today. I think I would be on a way of a different spectrum. And I always tell people that you don't know what tomorrow brings, you don't know how things are looking, but the moment that your life changes from that adoption, from that people who love you, people who are so much different than you are. And I remember I used to hear all the time, you know what? Just because we're rich, you're not, but we'll show you how to get it. Or they wouldn't give me anything for free; they would make me earn it,
Mm-hmm.
made me work to work to be the person I am, and that was all it took. And then from that moment on, if I was hanging out with a bad girl, they would say, "No, no, that's not the girl for you." And I'll never forget. It was my birthday. I had a birthday cake that this girl bought me. My mom was standing there looking at me. She's like, "I don't know what that girl put in that cake, but you better not eat it." And the cake looked good and everything, and I'm like, "Dang, this cake is the best." And my mom looked at me. I just threw it right in the trash. And I don't like that girl. That girl's not for you. And then I mean, through everything. I mean, I remember I was going to Disney World one week, and I'm taking my son to Disney World. And as funny as it was, I'm thinking, "All right, I got $500. I'm gonna fly over. I'm gonna do this Disney thing." They looked at me like, here's $1,500. Now you can go to Disney World." It was the best moment of my entire life because I didn't know what I was getting into, but they knew that me having my son, I wasn't going to do nothing with $500. They
Yeah.
showed me how life was. And as I got older, I promised them that, you know what, I'm going to make them proud. So I remember one day I'm on Good Morning America and I get this phone call. My mom says, "I need you to tell me where you are and don't lie to me." I said, "Okay." And I said, "I'm at work." She said, "You're lying." I said, "No, I'm not at work." She said, "I'm looking at you on TV. You're on Good Morning America." And I'm at work. She's like, "What are you doing in Good Morning America?" "Working." So I would go there and I would work. And
Yeah.
I remember I was like, I think it was my third time I'm at Good Morning America. And someone said to me, "Hey, you know, we got this show coming out called Grace versus Abrams. You should come back, ask a couple of questions." I said, "Okay." So I went there, and that night I did. I got in there. I started asking a couple of questions. The audience stood up, they clapped and everything. And someone looked at me like, "Get the hell out of here! What the hell are you doing on that show?" I said, "Sometimes you have to sell yourself
Mm-hmm.
no matter what." And next thing I know, I get a call. "Hey, listen, we need you to come on Good Morning America. We got this psychic that's coming out, and Jennifer Gardner is going to be on. So just wear a nice color shirt, and it's going to be really good." Next thing I know, I'm doing this thing. I wear this lavender shirt, and I'm asking these questions, and they changed the whole background to match my shirt. And they're like, "Who the heck do you know on Good Morning America?" And it was because my mom always saw it. So now I knew my mom was watching. Now I had to make sure she saw me
Yeah.
in that light. And I think that that was the thing too, because I learned to stand out with from people. I learned to stand out in front of everyone because I wanted to be different. So I knew that I was the guy who didn't drink, who didn't smoke, who didn't do drugs. I knew I was a different guy. And I just wanted to show the world that there was a different side of me, but there was a side of me that was able to teach, able to help people learn and show direction. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when I knew deep down inside, being the person I am today comes from the family that loved me more.
Oh.
They
Oh.
love me.
And that's why you're such a special guy. And I love you
I,
too.
That's amazing.
Oh. You okay, Eddie Murphy laugh after three. One, two, three.
She loves it. I don't know why she loves it.
I
She
love it.
does.
I love it because I remember being in Mississippi and you're walking across the street and I'm standing with Ben and you're.
It's funny because I remember as a kid, I would watch Eddie. I would watch Red Fox. I would watch Richard Pryor, and I would try to
Lovely.
imitate all of these guys. And Eddie Murphy, I remember I was young, and my dad had got Eddie Murphy Raw, and he had got his album, and I'm like, oh man. So I didn't listen to Richard. I didn't listen to Richard Pryor or Red Fox. I listened to Eddie Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, this is the funniest cat in the world. I remember the first thing on his record was he was talking about a Goonie Goo Goo, and it was like it was so far into it, and he was like he's like, I know your wife's a Goonie Goo Goo, Gus, and it was so funny. And I tried to learn to do his whole routine,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started going backwards. I started going further and watch all his stuff, watch the Saturday Night Live stuff. So the laugh it would just come out one day, and people looked at me like, "You be the fattest Eddie Murphy in the world." But but it was so cool,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's when I even knew more that I wanted to do comedy, whether it was just some type of acting. But I knew I wanted to do it. But Eddie Murphy actually opened up my door. So anything that Eddie had did, I was like, gotta watch it. And then I will see stuff that Eddie did, and I'm like, that movie sucked. But I will watch it anyway. So Eddie was like a big part of my life.
And you also have a friend that's a comedian.
Who would that be? I have so many friends.
I'm not saying
Are you talking about little Kevin Hart?
it. Mhm.
Well, I did the upside with Kevin Hart. I'll never forget Kevin when we shot the upside in Philadelphia. First of all, it was cold as hell. So Kevin, if you listen, I'm gonna explain to this. I'm gonna tell you, it was so cold. I'll never forget. It was February 24th, 9 o'clock. My wardrobe, they made me wear my black hat that I normally wear. Um, it was a black shirt, a vest, a regular vest. So I didn't have a flannel or nothing under. It's 24 degrees. I had a pair of jeans on, thermals, no gloves, nothing else. And they said, I just need you to walk up the street that way, then walk up the street that way. Oh, okay, whatever. Then I had an ice cream parlor scene and everything. It's freezing. And the day before, I'm hearing all these stories about people's in the Kimmel Center doing their scenes in the Kimmel Center. I'm like, all right, so cool. We're going to be outside. We're going to be in the tent. It's going to be warm. Nah. Mm-mm. Now, Kevin was warm in his little black Sprint. We wasn't. We was freezing. And so when it was time to have dinner, we had to walk back up half a mile up the road to where they staged all the dinner was. We like popsicles. I'm looking like a fudge pop because it was so damn cold. So we sitting in there, and everyone says, all right, well, listen, when we're done, we got to come back up to sign our papers. I'm like, whatever. So my next scene at this point, after I was outside, doing an outside scene forever, and then I had to do a car scene with Kevin.
Mhm.
So Kevin drives the Maserati. I drive my car behind him. I don't remember if they used the tape. They may have. And I got the walkie in my car. So they said action. I drive behind Kevin and stop at the light. Bam, back it up. Now that was the best one of my great scenes. But then the next scene, we had the ice cream parlor scene. Let me tell you how movie magic looks. We're sitting inside on the ice cream parlor scene. So they would put ice cream inside your bowl, but you have to take all these different takes. So to make your ice cream look like ice cream, they put whipped cream, clear vanilla whipped cream on top of your
Mhm.
ice cream. I was sick, so sick that I had to keep eating. there's whipped cream. I mean, I'm ready to barf. And the girl over there, like, she's like, you turning green? I'm like, well, it's a whole horrible trick if I'm turning green. And and it was bad because we're sitting there and Kevin is sitting at the Kevin's sitting at the stool. He's sitting at the bar. Like it was at the diner. He's sitting in front and he's talking to his son and everything. And then you got Bryan Cranston in the wheelchair. So now it's just funny at this point. I'm in the corner and we do the whole scene. I don't remember if all my scene got cut, but some of it might have. And after we did that, it was great. Then I have now my next scene. I had to go across the street. To go across the street, it's cold as hell again at the chop shop. I'm like, hello, am I a criminal or not? So I'm at the chop shop, chopping up the car, and Kevin is now looking out the window, having dinner with his co-star, that's supposed to be his wife, and he's looking at the window, so like, like really, I'm freezing, and all we have is a little fire. That wasn't a whole lot. So now it's about 10 o'clock. They're like, we're done. Kevin want to talk to y'all before y'all leave. Kevin comes and do a Russell Simmons thing. All right, y'all, everybody had a good night. Have a good night. I'm out. And closes the door on his Sprinter. And we like, I know this little imp did not just do this because we're freezing. We think he's going to have a whole heart to heart. He didn't. He had half a heart. So now we're walking back up. I got to sign papers. And I still got to walk back to get my car. So I walk up there, and I mean, I literally limped up there to get to sign this paperwork. Mm-hmm. So by the time I sign my paperwork, my hand's like this. So I'm trying to sign it, and they said, "You know, chicken scratch, man, it's freezing. My hands is not thaw out yet." And it was one of the times that talking about working for Kevin Hart was the coldest moment ever. Then all my other actor friends like, "Man, it was warm when we filmed." Shut up. I want to hear it. I picked anything ever to wanna work on a Kevin Hart movie.
Well,
But
Bobby,
it's fun.
We all know that you have a very bad luck with flights.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Tell them about Mississippi.
Me and Mississippi, for some reason, I don't know if Mississippi got a death wish with me because obviously it laughs and says no, we don't. So my first time flying to Mississippi. It was interesting because I'm like, this is the longest flight that should never be the longest flight ever. My first time I flew, got on the plane, my first spot it stopped at was Dallas. I'm like, okay, you never been to Dallas before, but this is all right. My plane was late. I'm like, the hell is my plane late? But we flew in a tornado. So we flying. We finally land. I'm sitting here kissing the ground, thinking, Jesus, hallelujah. And we finally made it. And I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to go catch my next plane, and they said, "Oh, your next plane is going to be delayed for an hour." I'm like, an hour? This is some bullshit. And it was sad because I had Corin to come pick me up. I had Ben come and pick me up, and they was like, "Nah, you better catch a cab." I'm like, "Catch a cab?" And so I finally get. So we finally get to the plane for Dallas. It was only supposed to take us an hour to get to Dallas. And our plane was leaking. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. I said, I'm going to die on this thing because I got a leaky plane. I just came out of a tornado. All I could think about was Final Destination. I don't even know why. But I finally land in Mississippi. I catch a cab. Now, let me tell you, this cab driver, I think his name was Ernest. And he said to me, "Oh, no, man, you ain't got to sit back there. Come on up here and sit with me." I'm too big to get raped. So I put my bag in the back and I sit up front and I told him where I was going. He said, "You surely you want to go there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go there." He kept saying, "No, you sure you want to go there?" I'm like, "Why you keep saying like I'm sure I want to go there?" "You want to go there?" I'm like, "Man, yeah, I want to go there." He said, "Okay." So I get there and I said, "Well, I got friends here. So we're waiting. I got stuff to do." He said, "I'm going to wait outside." Okay. Let me tell you, the moment that door closed, he was out. He did not stay away. Now, that was the first time in Mississippi. The second time I'm going to Mississippi, I left a day early. I figure I'm gonna leave early this time. Ain't no way in the world you're gonna screw me. Apparently, it did. So it was leaving from Mississippi, and it snowed that night. I had
Mm.
already had everything. I was gonna fly into New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna fly into New Orleans that night. And it was all planned out, and that didn't happen. The snow happened, and the snow made me. They redirected my flight. They sent me from they sent me from Philly to Miami to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't happened that way. No, it happened. Uh, went flying from Philly to Miami. It circled the runway enough times. I don't even know why. So it circled the runway. By the time I get there, and land, my docking of the plane was at I think D11, and I had to be at my other plane in 10 minutes, and my next plane was at D51. As I get out the gate, I see my bag getting taken to the plane. And I said to the guy, "Hey, listen, do you have one of those carts that I can just?" He said, "No." I said, "Yeah, I gotta get to D51." He said, "Listen, in your present condition." I said, "What am I, pregnant?" He said, "You ain't." He said, "You ain't making it at all." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make it." He said, "You ain't gonna make this." And sure enough, I get all the way down there. I had like a minute to spare. I don't know how. It's hard running when you're chubby. So as I finally get down there, they closed the door, and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll have to rebook." Rebook? Well, where's that? Oh, that's at D37. Heifer, I just walked from D11 to D51. I gotta go back to D37. I get there, this line longer than hell. I swore this was the hell line. And as I finally get up, she says, "Okay, tell me your story." Tell me my story. Lady, first of all, this Miami. It's hot. I'm in thermals. I'm sweating already. I'm really ball sweat. So I said, "All right, well, listen, when's the next plane?" He says, "I got one that's out for 7 o'clock tomorrow evening." I'm like, that won't do. No, I need an early flight, and I need it like yesterday. So she said, "Okay, fine. I got a flight for you. You gotta be here 5 in the morning." I said, "God damn it, that's only leaves
Oh.
me 3 hours." Fine. I get up. When I leave out, she said she paid. She gave me a voucher for the hotel. She gave me a voucher for the cab. I swear, there's got to be a conspiracy, because when I went there, the moment I stepped out the door, I felt 85 degrees hit me in my face. I was like, "This." There was no way in the world. I give the cab driver the voucher. He said, "I don't take that. I take cash." I said, "You got to be kidding me." So that was $25 to the hotel that was like 8 miles away. I'm mad. So I say to the woman, "Please do me a favor and call me in the morning so I can get up and not miss my flight, because I'm gonna be pissed off." No problem. Good thing I set my watch, and I set my phone and everything. This woman calls me at 5:24. I'm like, "You do know I asked for 5 o'clock, right?" She says, "Yeah, I was asleep." How do you sleep? How do you sleep? So I'm mad. So the cab comes. I give him the voucher. We don't take vouchers. We take cash. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I got two $25 vouchers I can't even use. I had to spit out my pocket. Finally gets my plane. I was thinking about getting some breakfast before I got on the next plane. Nah, that plane was ready. So I go get on the plane, and I arrive. Oh wait, what do we do? Oh no, they sent me to. They sent me from Miami to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from 24 degrees in Philly, 85 degrees in Miami, 24 degrees, no, 18 degrees in Dallas. And Dallas just had the flood of a lifetime with ice.
Mm.
So I'm freezing my behind off now. But ask me where my bag is at. My bag's already in New Orleans. I was meeting up with Ben.
Mm.
Finally, after I still had a layover in Dallas. I swear Dallas must be the layover capital of the world. So I go there. I said, "Well, let me sit and have breakfast." And the guy said, "Listen, you can have breakfast, but you best make your plane, because we ain't gonna do this again." I don't know how fast I ate at Friendly's, but I did. Ate at Friendly's, I get up there, and now I'm sitting on the plane, and my seatbelt won't lock. I'm like, God, do I have a small baby seat? The woman next to me said, no, you're just a little fat. Okay, you know what? I'm done. So either way, so when I got down to Miami this time, I think this was the worst one because I was in Miami I was in Dallas. I'm sorry, I was in Dallas this time for 3 hours longer. And my plane was supposed to leave out at 8:50. We get on the plane and the guy says, all you heard is, all right, all of our pre-checks are done. We're ready to go. Now I'm pissed because one, my seat is extra tight. My seat is a medium seat. You know you fat when the arm rails are rubbing on your thigh. That's when you know you should not be on this damn plane. So we finally get ready for takeoff, and the guy says, oh, you hear the pilot says this, we're having a few errors here. We're going to have to reset the plane. We're going to control alt delete. I said, mother, did he just say he got to control delete, reset this? I don't want to be on this plane. I said, well, are you flying the plane with a laptop? So I was so mad that he actually said control alt delete. And he hits the button, all the lights go out, all you see is the emergency exit sign light up like it's a rainbow. And I'm mad. So now he finally gets the plane moving, but it's like a lawnmower. All you hear is he at the 20 times it finally works. So we now just circling the runway on the ground. We just taxiing the runway. Now while we taxiing the runway, you got Zeus up there throwing damn lightning bolts down, and you just see lightning everywhere, just all over the place. And then you finally hear the pilot who did not talk. He has problem with communication. I hope he's not married. He's sitting here like, wow, we're number 13 in line. Don't tell me we number 13. That's the bad number. Yeah, we're number 13 in line. Don't worry, we're going to take off in a minute. So finally, as we're trying to circle, you hear the plane go, ew. So the plane power go, oh, hell no. Get me off of this M180. I don't want to be on this flight, this final destination plane. We finally go back to the dock, and we had to get on another plane. So I'm happy they were smart enough for that, but the other plane was no better than this plane. So we get off, we then move our stuff, and we get back on. So we get to the next plane, which looks like the same damn plane that we was just on. I had the same seat. My thighs were still tight and rubbing together. And we finally get in this plane, and as the plane is taking off, the plane is going up, and it's just shaking the whole time. I'm like, God darn it! I said, Dallas don't like me for some reason. And every time the plane would shake, and you just seen lightning bolts the whole time that the plane going up, shoosh, shoosh. I was like, Zeus don't care about none of us on this plane. So he says, the pilot says, I'm going to climb above the sky so we can be above the clouds. I don't care. Just get us home. So I finally landed. I was supposed to land in Gulfport, Mississippi at exactly 10:30. I landed in Gulfport, Mississippi at 1:50 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
I was so pissed that when we got into the airport closed. I don't know what airport closes at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Is it like a bar? I was mad. I was so done.
Mississippi.
Closes at about 2 o'clock. Like, and I'm like, what are you gonna do? Flash the lights? Last call for planes? I was done. So it was different, and it's like, how do I get screwed every time? Then my phone got jacked. It was horrible. I lost all my pictures, all the stuff I did down there. I lost everything. So I said, you know what? Maybe it's just me. So next time as I'm flying to go to Pensacon, I'm not going nowhere near Gulfport. I'm going straight to Florida. That's where it's going to be.
And I'm sure the audience are going to be cracking up at quite a few of your stories. Because Bobby's quite the storyteller, aren't you, Bobby? And they're true stories too.
They are. It's like true Hollywood stories, and it's just not Hollywood. So I have to call them true ghetto stories. They're true.
They are.
I can't make up my life. I cannot make up my life because everyone sees it and they just look at me. So for me, it's like when I leave to go fly somewhere, if I don't leave a day ahead, the stuff that could happen that day probably has to happen the day before,
I
so I can
know.
be on top.
Well, you're a very funny guy, and you're an awesome gent. Very talented and a good soul. And thank you very much for coming on Chatbox with Sam. I'm
Oh,
sure that
thank you for having me.